We are back for another episode of the Tiye Noelle Show, episode 3. Welcome back. I'm so glad you guys are coming back again and again. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, please subscribe, because a lot of people that are watching are not subscribed, so subscribe. And if you're listening to us and you're listening to my voice and you don't see what's going on, then please make sure that you also follow us on Spotify. Welcome. So we're gonna be getting into our favorite part of the show, which is hot topics. So we are back, guys, with some hot topics, and we are starting in the UK. So if you've been living under a rock, which I really don't understand where you've been, it's been all over TikTok, it's been all over Instagram. We are following this dramatic story of two British girls who have been found guilty for drug trafficking in Jamaica. So they were trafficking drugs from Jamaica to the UK. And this story came about because one of the girls, Soraya, her mum, Cheryl, this is the woman that you're seeing here, came onto social media and did a story time about her daughter and all of the issues. So what Cheryl said was that they were in Jamaica to spend time with the first girl, Genevieve, her boyfriend. That's what she said. She said it was her boyfriend of 2 years. Genevieve asked Soraya to come with her so that they could spend some time in Jamaica, have a great time. She said she did not want them to go. She was adamant that she didn't want him to go. She was also adamant that she didn't want them to stay in the Airbnb accommodation that Genevieve said boyfriend, Toby, was his name Toby? She thought his name was Tony. Come to find out that's not his name, but we'll get back to that. That he had put them up in, right? So she said, I didn't want them to go. I didn't want them to be in the Airbnb. Although she did end up paying for her daughter, Soraya, to go. So a mother that said she didn't want her daughter to go anyway, then ended up paying for her daughter to go. Okay? Since then, she's come up with all these allegations in terms of, in my mind, how I feel, kind of leading the general public to believe that maybe Genevieve knew a bit more than she's letting out, but her daughter very innocently was duped, conned, bamboozled into bringing said back shoes with drugs in it. When you first hear the story, I first was just like, oh my God, this is terrible news. This is not fair. Like, this happens to a lot of people bringing back stuff from the Caribbean or anywhere for family members, friends, blah, 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 blah. Then Bouncer, who is now an influencer, social media commentator, had a sit down with Genevieve. So Genevieve is the main girl who was hired, well, not hired, but invited to this trip in Jamaica by her boyfriend. When Genevieve spoke, she basically said that actually they had been messing around. This is not her boyfriend. She messed around with him for a few years when she was in university, but actually coming out, she didn't really check for him like that. They were on and off, talking here and there, and then he, while in their talking stages, I guess, he invited her to Jamaica. She asked a few other friends. The friends said no because they couldn't get no time off, and then she remembers Soraya being someone who just came from Jamaica, because Soraya is actually, her family is from Jamaica. They have rekindled their friendship from being friends from 7 years ago, lived on the same clothes, all that kind of stuff, but they weren't close like that. But as they're rekindling this friendship, she's like, okay, well, if you ever go, Soraya said to Genevieve, if you ever go back to Jamaica, or if you do go to Jamaica, I'll come back with you. So then she was like, okay, well, let me invite her. She said that she wanted to come. Genevieve said that when she told her mum at first, her mum was like, hell no. But then Soraya's mum, Cheryl, is the person who said, you know what? I'm going to speak to your mum. I'm going to tell her it's okay, and convinced her mum to let them go. Okay? So she thought at the time, oh my God, Soraya's mum, she's so cool. Soraya. Sorry, what am I saying? Soraya. Toraya's mum is so cool. She's like got our backs. She was basically saying, when I was you guys' ages, I was a young mum. I didn't get to travel, so you guys should travel, have a great time. Okay? They go to Jamaica and actually have a great time. But then what happens is Tony then says, oh, my cousin, you need some shoes sent back to the UK. Now, obviously, in our grown-up logical mind, ain't nobody sending those shoes from Jamaica to the UK. You send shoes down. You don't bring shoes back. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing in Jamaica that you can't get here. Even Clarks are from here. Do you know what I mean? They get sent down. So I don't really get what she thought she was sending down. But hey, the thing about it is they did check the shoes. So everyone again in the comments was just like, you know, these girls are so dumb. How come they didn't even check the shoes? This is their fault. But, you know, they checked the shoes. That is what her mum said to do. They was like, I'm going to check the shoes. The shoes looked fine. They went through the box. There was nothing extra added into it. What Genevieve was basically saying is she feels some type of way that everyone is attacking her because she's not that dumb where she didn't check the shoes. However, she didn't know the level of criminality that is around in the world, that they can mold shoes, sew into soles and all that kind of stuff. So she was unaware. Remember, these guys, they're 20 years old. They are 20 at the time this is happening. So when they pull up to the airport, before they even get to check in, they're getting swarmed. Come with us, let's check your bags. And as they are opening the bags, apparently the security guard or whoever they were, immigration, basically said these shoes feel very weighty. They feel heavy. She said that's apparently how designer shoes were, so she felt like there was nothing wrong with it. I don't know about designer shoes. I'm a machine girl. Okay, but yeah, so then they said, let's open up the shoes. And when they opened the shoes from the sole, is when they saw the cocaina, the Coca-Cola, cut in the shape of the sole of the shoe. Now, I'm sorry, yeah, but I was a grown-ass woman. I'm also feeling like I would be maybe naive. I'm not going to lie to you. Because who knew that they could just, you know, cut cocaina to the shape of the sole of the shoe? If I check it and I'm going through all of the little things, you know, and I don't see anything, I'm thinking everything is fine. But you know when they swab and it goes blue and now there's drugs and then they pull it apart and now these girls are being sentenced because they've been already found guilty of trafficking this, well, planning to traffic this coke. They've been now there for 18 months, stuck in Jamaica. Her daughter, what's her name again?
Genevieve,
Taraya is now pregnant. No, she just had a baby by someone in Jamaica. And they're waiting their sentencing. So while this is all going on and they're bringing it to light, which is, I think, is good because people need to be aware that this is something that truly does go on a lot. These young girls are being set up, basically, because there's definitely many theories in terms of what this could be. It could be that they were sending them back with stuff. Also could have been that they were set up for distraction for a bigger hit. Who knows? Because they didn't even get to check in. As soon as they got there, they were swarmed. But also I'm aware that the authorities knew that people do things like this, and if these are guys that are doing it on a weekly, monthly basis, they might have been able to see them being dropped off by these guys. I mean, these girls make it seem like Genevieve said that she basically said, this is who it is, this is who told us to come, and told the police and authorities the whole story. But they might also be charged and sentenced to be an example. I kind of think that's why this is coming to light, because it's be an example to young girls to not be so stupid and do stuff like this. The interview with Bouncer, though, was really good, and I recommend everyone to go and watch it, just because I think there was a little level of empathy that I didn't expect from Bouncer, to be honest, but he did give to them, because they are 19 and 20, and as much as I think sometimes we don't give enough grace for young black people, or especially young black women. I think we assume that everyone grew up in this ghetto and should know all the tricks of the trade, but like not everybody grew up as criminals. Not everybody knows criminal enterprise families are criminals and know what's going on. Some people really just think that they're doing someone a favor because they had this great holiday and, you know, what's bringing back shoes. They're saying that the guy, you know, he's moved to the UK, he doesn't have money, you know, he's struggling right now, and they're trying to help him out, and they felt bad and they felt guilty. That's what Genevieve said. Now, I think 7 pairs of shoes, 7 pairs of shoes should have been like, you know, a flag. It's not like they're just saying put a pair of shoes in your suitcase and take this pair of shoes. 7 pairs of shoes should have been a highlight. But again, I'm saying this as a grown-ass woman, not as someone at 20, 21. not thinking a big deal of it, and they checked the shoes. Apparently, the parents said check the shoes. They checked the shoes. They thought it was fine. I kind of can see why, again, they took it. I'm going to tell you a little story time. And I'm not going to incriminate myself in terms of what year this was, but it wasn't that long ago, yeah? Someone I knew and I was dating for 6 months, yeah? When I was on vacation in Barbados, where my family's from, where this person's family is from, asked me to bring back fish. Okay? Now, I don't know about you guys, but in the Caribbean, when we go on vacation, we bring back stuff. Maybe stuff that technically we should bring back. His mom gave me the fish. And then I didn't even check the fish because it was melting. I put it back, I put it in the freezer. And then just before my flight, I took it out of the freezer, I wrapped it up, I put it in my bag. Okay? And I came back with said fish. Now, who's to know I dated this man for 6 months? We're cool, but, it's not a big a deal. Who's to say that that was his mom? Who's to say that there was not drugs wrapped up in that fish, even though it was fish? Also, even if it's not drugs, technically fish is illegal to bring back. So if I got stuck with the fish, I could be fined. And I still did it anyway. And this is a grown back, big back age. What are we talking about? People bring back rum for people. People also bring back mugs. Who's to say that with these criminals, they put in rum, cocaine, or cocaine in the bowl? In the glass, in the whatever you're bringing back, you don't really know. And because we are raised to bring back things for people, even though everyone's like, no, you never bring things back. Yes, you don't know about you lot, but a pack barrel, send barrel, bring back stuff. Okay, maybe not a whole bag, but things do come back with you. So I think we need to give a bit more grace to this situation, especially for young girls, because you don't think until you're in the situation that it could go awry. Yes, shoes, 7 pairs, an additional bag, yeah, maybe. But I still feel like grace could be given. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. What do you guys think?
I'm just laughing at the fact that you could have been the next Griselda Blanc.
I could have been. Could have been. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be real here. Like, that's the thing. You can't and you shouldn't bring things back. But in your mind, you just think nothing of it. It's not a big deal. You bring back some trainers, bring back some fish. This is the Caribbean way.
I ain't gonna lie, I think they're stupid for that.
I think they were stupid for the 7 pairs of shoes. But if it was 1 pair of shoes, I can't lie. I think I might have been caught up in it.
Yeah, 1 pair of shoes, yeah, but 7? No.
7 pairs, an additional bag, questionable.
Yeah.
But I don't know, guys. I don't know. Comment below. I think everyone was really hard on them. And at first, I was really hard on them. And even I went out to dinner with some friends. We were going back. I was like, these girls are dumb. 7 pairs of shoes. Dumb, 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 dumb. But actually watching the interview with Bouncer, I was like, he had so much empathy. And I was like, no, for real. Like, you're 21. You think you know better than your parents. You think you're so smart. You think you're so big and bad. But really, you don't really know anything. And you don't know how sheltered these girls were. We just assume that because they're black, that they should know our ends. And they should know the system. And they should know how all of these things is happening. And I think that's not fair. We should be able to give grace. I hope when they get sentenced, they're up for a minimum of 6 years. Minimum, apparently. I hope that the judge kind of gives them a slap on the wrist. And this being the media spectacle that it is enough to deter young girls from getting pulled up in this decision, in this situation ever again. Me, as grown as I am, will never bring back fish from a man again. Okay? This shook me down. Can't lie. This shook me. So I feel like, yeah, praise up to them. Taraya's got a baby, which is crazy work. Everyone's all like, what you down there giving front when you should be fighting this case? But at the same time, what else she meant to do? She can't work. She's not there. She don't have no family. Well, she does have family. Apparently her family Jamaican. But I don't know if she has family there for real. So, maybe she just needed some tender loving care while she's out there. DLC. Anyway, God bless them. Next. Okay, so last week, we, with the Super Bowl, was talking about Cardi B and why she unfollowed, I was going to say Offset. Well, he's almost new Offset, let's be real. Why she unfollowed Stephon Diggs and left early. And everyone was speculating, and pretty soon it came out that Stephon Diggs brought out his youngest child's mother and invited her to the Super Bowl. Cardi apparently, allegedly, because we don't know these people, allegedly was under the impression that Stephon's mum was going to bring his youngest son, who he calls Snoop, but actually the baby mom came instead. So everyone's just like, what do you mean? Like, what's the problem here? Why would there be any issues? But I think we need to go back to really decipher what is going on here and like why this could be an issue. Who's these kids? How many kids does this man have? Let's just go back. So we got this together, the map. And this is the map of Stefan Diggs' baby mamas. He has 6 children. And 4 of said children came in 2025, including Cardi B's child. Okay, so first off, we have his first child, which was born in 2016, and this was by Taylor. She is one of the ones in the New York area. This was a year after Stefan was drafted to the NFL, and that was his first daughter, first child. The second baby mom is Kennedy, who is from the Maryland area, and that happened in 2023. So from 2026 to 2022, 2023, this man had 1 child. 1 child. He now is a mess. Anyway, so that was 2023. Another girl. Then in 2024, bit quiet, but a lot of stuff was brewing for him. And 2025, bam, baby boom. Bam, baby boom. After that, from the beginning of the year, there was alleged paternity test by Alana, wherever her name is, for their next daughter that was born in 2025 in April. In the same month, another one called Kay, an Instagram model, gave birth to another baby girl. That was 2025 April, 2025 April. Then was Cardi's baby, and that was a son born in October, November time, right? So that we're now at 5. Cardi was the 5th baby mom. Now, I don't know how you could go from a wife to the 5th baby mom. I don't personally like the downfall of the title for my girl, but hey, okay. Anyway, so then finally, which is the woman in question for the Super Bowl, is this one down here at the bottom. I got him, this one here from Florida, and her name is Kiana, okay? And she is the Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? She's the KB that Drake speaks of, right? This is apparently a not supermodel, Instagram model. She's famous, she's a stone chick, cool, calm, collective, everyone loves her. But this is the Drake, this is the KB that everyone's talking about. She is his 6th baby mom, and this is the mother of Snoop. So Snoop is his youngest son, and she was the one that showed up to the Super Bowl. Apparently, allegedly, people are saying that she is his favorite. I don't know. Cardi's the famous one that's, favorite outside in the open, doing all the pre-interviews for the Super Bowl, lending her success to him, and, doing power couple online, looks great. But behind the scenes, apparently, this is the one that he can't let go. Baby Snoop. And he's there walking around with belts that say Snoop. Like, I don't really know how that works. You guys tell me what you think about that, but I don't really like this. I don't really like this for Cardi. I don't really like how she went from this messy band to new Offset, because you can't spell Stefan without Offset, apparently. I don't know, I don't like it. She's basically gone from bad to worse. It's not even a right word, but worse it is. And he is also currently pleading not guilty to felony strangulation, suffocation, misdemeanor assault, battery charges for a live-in chef that he used to have, but also was apparently still fucking her too. So that, he just went to court for that this week. So let's see how that goes. We'll follow that. But this man is crazy. At this time of this man's lows, court cases, lost the Super Bowl, Cardi is now on tour for Am I the Drama Tour. Should have a little fool. What I will say is she is from the Beyonce school of performances. She fell on that stage and then gave a little body roll and then was singing upside down and just giving it her all. She sounds, looks phenomenal. She made a funny joke saying that it was the government that set her up and as to why that happened, but that's literally because they've been coming for her based on her views around ICE and stuff. So yeah, Cardi, chef's kiss. Definitely think I'm gonna try and see it when it comes to Toronto, but she's killing it on the tour. One of the main things that have been a highlight from her tour is the Pretty and Petty song, Pretty and Petty as Fuck, where she talks about Bia. This is her diss song to Bia. So obviously she's going to perform it because it's on her album. But then Bia goes and says something like, name a quarterback that has more baby mums than touchdowns. Now, obviously we were just talking about how many baby mums he has, which is embarrassing. Rushing yards. Receiving yards. Whatever he plays, all we don't care. All we know is this is the embarrassing stuff that I don't like. This is why I'm just like, girl, of all the people you get out of the way with, this is the man that she can't say nothing to Cardi because Cardi's winning. She can't say nothing about Cardi's talent. She can't say nothing about Cardi's tour because Cardi just had a baby and now she's on tour killing it. She's having a phenomenal year, right? The only thing you can talk about is this man. And this is the problem when you align yourself to a waste man that's like, you got to deal with this. Anyway, Cardi said straight, like, I don't even deal with this man, but you can't really talk about him because this is my baby daddy, which I hear it, support yours, but very disappointed around this whole situation. But yeah, Bia, you are hated from outside the club. It's very sad. I really don't want to hear it from her. Please just continue to do music because I actually do like Bia and like her music, but I just think this you lost, so let's just leave it. Stop talking about her. Next. Anyway, this, I'm actually over it already, just looking at the picture because I'm sick of talking about this man. I thought we didn't have to hear from him for 10 years. I thought that he was gone for 10 years, never hear about him again. But Tory Lanez is back in the press with Megan Thee Stallion. So for some reason, I have no idea why, the clips from Kelsey's bodyguard, who came out after Tory was sentenced to the 10 years, saying that he overheard someone say that Kelsey was the one who shot Megan instead of Tory, came resurfaced. This same clip, people are making it seem like it was a new clip. This is the same old clip as to why he filed that injunction after he was already sentenced, and they already said no to this, right? But it's been brought out again. This also, can I just point out, a week after the Glorilla stuff, where Tory, for some reason, gave money to Glorilla's sister brother, $2,500, to her, to be looking like he was some savior. If people don't, I know what it's like for people not to support people, so I'm gonna give this money to you, da 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 da. Okay, so I feel like this is a setup, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this is a setup, this is a scheme from Todd. I genuinely feel like, because why did we just get this good press and all of a sudden this clip is resurfacing? I don't know. Anyway, so then we're talking about conspiracies. Everyone's back with the conspiracies. And DJ Vlad, who does those interviews where you never see his face, but he just be asking people all these questions, drug dealers, conspiracies, blah, 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 posted a tweet, right? And he says, I have a confession. Rock Nation has been paying me to support Megan. They also paid off all the jury members to convict Tory, and then they bribed the judge too. Jay-Z did a verse for his grandson's new album. They're talking about the judge, okay? They paid off Megan's doctor to lie about the bullet fragments. She was never shot. The LAPM police are all on Jay-Z's payroll, and it doesn't stop with LA, but you are not ready to hear that. The Mexican guy who stabbed Tory, who do you think paid him? Question mark. You already know the answer. 3 Supreme Courts who denied Tory's appeal, all paid off by Rock Mafia. Jay-Z also paid Trump not to pardon Tory, even though it's a state case. Trump can only pardon federal cases, but knowing Trump likes to bend the rules, Jay-Z wasn't taking any chances. I can't keep these lies anymore. This is my last tweet, and you know who silenced me. This is what he posted, right? Everyone's like, oh my God, we knew it, free Tory, like finally someone speaking out, blah, blah, blah. But he was obviously trolling. In my mind, as I'm reading this, when he says, that Jay-Z did a verse on the grandson's new album. You think Jay-Z's doing a verse on someone's album? Even if he had to pay someone, he can't do no verse. Like, this is not going to be part of the terms of Jay-Z trying to do a cover conspiracy, because that would be bait. Who's his grandson? Wasteman. Crazy. And then he was like, he also paid Trump not to pardon Tory, even though this is a state case and Trump can only pardon federal cases. I think that also was a point to the fact that it was sarcasm. Many people didn't get this for some reason. So Vlad then had to go on Sneeko, who's a streamer's platform and say, guys, come on, I am being sarcastic. This is sarcasm. Do we not get it? Sneeko is one of these people that are like, free Tory, blah, blah, blah. But people seem to not get it. He also, after that post, followed it by saying, I'm seeing news that Kelsey's bodyguard came forward and said that Kelsey shot Megan and not Tory Lanez. The only problem is Kelsey's bodyguard wasn't actually bodyguarding her the night of the shooting. His testimony is based on conversations claimed he heard 98% of the appeals fall through. So this was the appeal that Tory Lanez did after he had already convicted, because that clip that is now being resurfaced came out. That was last year, or I think even, was it last year? Probably early last year or the year before. Okay, so nothing new has come out. Nothing new has been said. So this isn't going to overturn Tory's conviction. If there were any truth, Tory should have taken the stand and said it. Now, let me tell you something. I said this before and I'll say it again. Nobody could ever tell me to not go on a stand and say that I'm innocent if I am innocent. I know people say that that's not good, you shouldn't do that. But if I know for a fact that this person who did it, not me, the person who did it was given some sort of like pardon, whatever Kelsey was given, and I knew it wasn't me, I'm gonna go on a stand and say it wasn't me. Tory refused to do that. Also, the story doesn't match up with the jail call where Tory apologizes to Kelsey. You're an idiot if you think that someone sitting in jail is going to apologize to the person who put them there. Why would the shooter even do a jail call with the person being charged with their crime? Now again, open up your eyes. Open up your ears. Be realistic in the situation. He apologized and said he's sorry for doing that and putting them in a position. The night of the shooting, Kelsey texted someone saying, oh my God, Tory shot Megan. Okay? I don't understand what people are missing here, but I'm over talking about it, and I'm over you guys trying to make this man seem innocent when he's not. And even if he was innocent of shooting her, he still was arrested and charged for the gun when he was already on parole, and he had a gun. Okay, that is actually what he's in prison for. Remember, this was LA versus Tory Lanez, not Megan Thee Stallion versus Tory Lanez. And what makes this even more annoying is that it came out on the day before her 31st birthday. These niggas, this is the manipulation and the mind games that she talked about in her documentary, I Do Not Care. They are trolling her. Anytime this girl wants to be happy, her birthday comes, all of a sudden that little munchkin is coming here with some news to come and try and ruin it. You ain't about to ruin this, baby, okay? You're not going to come and ruin this for her. She continues to grow regardless, okay? She lost her parents, both of them. Her label turned on her, even put out a little fake dummy to rival her. Like, all of this stuff about whether she was shot or not shot, people still riding by this man regardless of his own technical confession. Because why would I get on a jail call and say that I'm sorry to people that got me here in the first place? Please, make it make sense. Anyway, I said this all to say, shout out to Megan, happy birthday. Absolutely divine. Look at this body. Chef's kiss. Proud of her, admire her. I'm sure her parents are absolutely proud of her. Regardless, she's opening Popeyes. She's now franchise the owner. Like, she's doing amazing things. And that man is where in jail he in. Next. Oh, I guess another hater on the lurks, I guess. Queen Nicki Minaj, because I'm still, I don't know, I'm like tiptoeing the lines of whether I'm a butt or not. I can't lie to you guys because, yeah, I just don't know. Anyway, reports have come out from the artist, makeup artist, Sir John, that Nicki Minaj has a nasty attitude. Nasty attitude. I kind of feel like we knew that. Like, I don't know, but we knew that she had, you know, she's Sagittarius. Like, you know, they could be a bit snooty. But some of the allegations that he said was wild. He said that he turned down Hype Williams' ask for him to work on this shoot with Nicki Minaj. And the reason why he turned it down was because he has seen how she treats her glam team all of these years, right? So he's saying that some of the crazy things that she is known for doing is wiping her lip gloss on the lip gloss that she hates on someone's shirt. So she's like, I don't like that. Why it's on this man's shirt? Okay, apparently after a shoot set up, this person did their job, set up the shoot, and basically said, I need to go to my father's funeral. And she said, ain't he dead already? Like, why do you need to go? He's dead already. So even though your job is done, you got to stay here. And then also another stylist, Parish Chai, said that she has seen her spit on people, like actually spit on her glam team, right? So he's now receiving death threats from the Barbs because he's whistleblowing on her said behaviors to her glam team. Do I believe it? I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, probably. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry, guys. I think she done this. This kind of gives hard to work with Tude, Nicki Minaj. But some fans are saying that this is a hate train, this is a scheme, smear campaign led by the Carters. And the reason why they're saying that is because Sir John is Beyonce's lead makeup artist. And as we should know, or I hope you guys do know, Nicki Minaj has been very critical on Jay-Z, saying that he is out here eating babies, he is stealing money from her, owes her money, has got her in this crazy contract. She's also alleging that he is the reason why, or behind her being blackballed in this industry, but also why her house got raided, why she got stuck when she was abroad, and they was like harassing her over the weed pen that she had. So she is basically saying that this is, or the fans are saying, the Barbs are saying, that this is just another scheme or part of the smear campaign of Nicki Minaj led by the Carters, because he is their lead stylist. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think that this is definitely Nicki Minaj, just who she is and is coming to light? Or do we think that, yeah, this is Nicki Minaj, but the reason why it's coming to light is because the Carters are behind it and Jay-Z wants to continue to smear her name? This is probably, and people again are saying that this is the reason why she's going to the Trumps for protection, and why she's now decided to team up with Trump is because she's looking for that level of protection. Because when she was trying to whistleblow all these things, said raid and all that stuff to the black community, nobody wanted to listen to her because it's Jay-Z and it's Beyonce, right? So yeah, I don't know if we will need to do another deep dive, do a full video on this, but the Barbs don't believe that this is true. I kind of believe that this is true, but I also kind of believe and find it funny that this is coming out now. Like, why is this coming out now? Why are we talking about this now? You know? I don't know. So, we're going to, I think way back in time. Who remembers The Hills? You guys remember The Hills? Well, Spencer Pratt, The Hills main villain, I guess. He was the main villain in The Hills, is now running for mayor of LA, which is crazy work. However, it's not a surprise because last year when there was the fire in the Palisades, I think everyone saw that all of these celebrity homes were burnt down. I know Janae Aiko lost her whole home. They also lost their home. And he then became like this TikTok star where he's talking about all of the issues that they're facing because they are house rich. So he's saying that yes, they're celebrities, you guys have known who they are all of this time, but actually they don't have money like that. The money that they had and they saved from The Hills and any other thing that they have been doing was invested in that house. And now that they've lost this home from the fires, the insurance is not covering it. He blames Karen Bass, who's the mayor of LA, for not having a good response. He's been speaking out on TikTok about his views about the leadership of LA. So now he is running for mayor. Sounds super crazy, but again, LA has had Arnold Schwarzenegger as a mayor before, and we have Trump as not we, because he's not my president, but the US has Trump as a president, so it seems to be on brand for that part of the world. However, what is even more hilarious is that his sister Stephanie has come out and said, hell no to the no to my own brother. She said that a vote for my brother is a vote for stupidity. Now, I'm sorry, you would normally want to support and ride for your siblings, ride for your brother, but she said, I ain't about that. She's saying that there's so much more that needs to be done. She even calls Karen Bass, the mayor, an arse. So she don't like her either, but she's basically saying like, maybe you can do something with just the Palisades in this area, but when it comes to LA as a whole, you would not be a good mayor. She thinks that he's only doing it because he's trying to boost sales for his memoir. She said that he's on drugs, which again is not very different to any other politician in these spaces. It's for me, but you know, she's highlighting that as an issue. She says, I am worried about LA, and I know I have no problem with Spencer playing government, but our city needs help. And then she said, arse Bass sucks. So she's not here for Karen, but she's not here for Spencer either. So I just think that he needs to sit down. There's some things that you can do to support your area. I think he was right about in terms of, you know, maybe needing to have better fire systems in those areas when it comes to all of the fires, because it happens year on year. We're seeing it in Canada as well. You know, this is global warming. These are the things that's happening. But being a mayor, Spencer, I think that's a bit of a reach. Okay, so I just think you should sit down. But yeah, shouts definitely to being like, I don't care if you're my brother or not, it's a no for me, dog. And I think it should be a no for most people. So yeah, take your name off the ballot. Next. Okay, we're going into another delusional man. Check it out. I'm joking. So actually, this again, conflicted. Noelle Clarke, as some people know, he is very famous in the UK as one of the spearheads for Black British cinema. Very famous from about early 2000s to about 2010s for some of the movies that he put out, which is Out of Hood, Kid Out Hood, shaped our childhood. For me, shaped our childhood. But throughout the years, there have been allegations. And last year all went to head when The Guardian posted this full breakdown on all the allegations, all the people that they apparently spoke to, women, that said that this man is a creep. You know, giving director couch casting weird vibes where he's going to like acting schools and like doing this weird stuff and watching women take off tops and all of these weird allegations, sexual assault, things of that nature. And last year he sat down with Zizzy Mills on the Zizzy Mills show and did an interview, and he said these are all allegations. He also then took The Guardian to court about said allegations. These are all allegations, and the police have not brought me in for questioning yet, at all. So this is just hearsay. And he stood by the fact that he was innocent. This is all hearsay. They're doing this hit piece, and this is not true. He also lost out on that TV show that he was doing with Ashley Walters as well at that time. I forgot what the show is on Sky One. Had stepped down from that. So a lot of stuff came to him with these allegations, but he stood that he was innocent. And one of the main things that even I said was, if they haven't charged him for anything, why are we talking about it? He has now been charged. So he has been charged with an arrest, or should I say arrested? Because those technically are two different things, right? For attempted rape, exposure and sexual assault by touching a woman in her 20s, because I know that some people were trying to say it was a minor, a woman in her 20s, that this sexual offense happened in 2007. So now he had to turn himself in. He went in willingly with his wife and has since been put on bail, but the allegations are no longer allegations. He has been arrested on suspicion of these things now. So it is actually going to court, and he is now going to have to fight this in court. Last year when he did try to sue The Guardian in a libel case, he actually lost against the publishers and now owes them $3 million for their legal case, for their legal costs. So it's not, and this was I think around in September, so this is not going well for Noelle Clarke at all. We're going to obviously follow the case to see how it goes. I'm hoping that if he is guilty, he does, face highest consequences, and, you have to reap what you sow. And it seems that, in the last couple of years, all of these things that happen in the dark are coming to the light. Would it be devastating or disappointing? No, devastating is a bit of a stretch, but disappointing for, I think, for us who, you know, hold him on a high regard, especially for the entertainment space and the film space in the UK, definitely. But these allegations have been going on for a very, very, very long time. And one thing he stood on, and I think that a lot of people were giving him grace on, was the fact that these were just allegations and nothing has come to pass in terms of being charged for it. And now they have. So we'll be having a watch and seeing how this goes. But yeah, good luck, I guess. Next. So guys, February 16th has happened. And America's Next Top Model, the documentary, has come out. And last week, I said I don't think that Tara is the villain. And a few people spoke to me and said, girl, are you insane? She's definitely the villain. And I want to come back and say, you were right. You were right. Tara is a villain, girl. She is bad mind. I'm so sorry, Tara, girl, I'm so sorry. Even your appearance in this gave shady. I don't want to talk about it. I know that I'm wrong, but I'm still trying to save face. It was kind of awkward to watch, I'm not going to lie. Like, a mess. The thing about it is, where are we? The thing about it is, at first, I was still stuck on this is the times, you know, they outed Ebony season 1 that she was a lesbian, but then Ebony was also like, it was still good to show my lesbian lover and us, you know, here. So it was really good. It was groundbreaking for the times and blah, 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 blah. But it seems like all of the good things that Tyra thought the show was going to give ended in season 3. After season 3 and the success, it then became, this is for TV, this is for ratings. We don't really care about the well-being of these women at all. And at first, I was, focusing on things like, you know, being size positive and wanting people to be all sizes and all shapes and all color hues. They said that the network pushed back at the first season because they wanted this particular Latina lady, and they didn't want that level of diversity that Tyra and the other guy that started it, Ken, said that they wanted a different level of diversity, and they fought to have this Latina woman in it. They ended up having to replace her, all of this stuff, right? So at first it was positive. Different looks, different sizes, going against the social norms that we're having in the industry. But then it turned nasty, girl. She brought Miss J and Jay Alexander in. Then there was also, what's his name? Barker? Nigel Barker was also there, and Janice Dickinson. I'm not gonna lie, even watching this again, I said last week, Janice was wicked and one of the main villains to me. She was calling everybody fat. She was the one that was always bringing up the fact that they would never work in the industry, and apparently her and Tyra at the beginning were clashing a lot because of the rhetoric that she was spewing. But it seems like within time, Tyra was basically allowing this, or even herself projecting on these girls some of the stuff that she had to deal with, and basically saying this is what it is and you have to deal with it. Yeah, you do need to lose weight. There's girls having eating disorders on the show. You know, they're saying that women need to lose weight. She closed one girl's gap to the next season, open another girl's gap. Make that make sense. They would listen to people's insecurities and fears and then do photo shoots that would replicate the fear. So one girl's mum, who was shot and was in a wheelchair, they then did a shoot where models were being killed and shot, and then had the same girl with being shot in her head, and she had to pose while being shot in the head. Like, it was actually psychological warfare. I'm so sorry. It's actually very scary stuff. Like, it didn't make sense to me. I'm like...
So you watched that in real time and you didn't think there was anything?
No, because the thing about it is, I'm telling you, this was, in that moment, at the times, one, I was probably how old? I don't even know how old I was then. Maybe like 10, 12. Should I have been watching it? Probably not. But you don't think anything of it because you're not putting the correlation together. But now in hindsight, you're looking back, you're like, oh my God, she's using these women's insecurities, these women's stories to bring out this stuff. Like, she's doing blackface and, like, you know, to making people just... She in 2 seasons, she made them switch races. She had the white girls turn white and Native American. She had the black girls said that they were Korean, posted with babies. I'm telling you all the time. No, actually, what was we watching? It was actually crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It is worth watching. There was also the thing about Shandy, and there was sexual assault, whether this was sexual assault or not. So Sandy was one of the girls that came from some country town, came into the modeling agency into the auditions, and she had always felt like she was like the ugly duckling, right? But in the model standards, she was tall, she was blonde. Well, she wasn't blonde at the time, she was brunette, but she was tall, she was slim, and she had this, like, that was the model standards. She's going there, they're telling her how beautiful she is, they dye her hair, she's really feeling great. They send them to Milan. This is the first time many of these women go to Milan for the first time. They go on these things called it's called not sip and see, but these model courses, these C's, or I forgot what they're called, and they would go around to all of these model houses and all these fashion houses to try and get booked for these gigs. And part of that experience while they were in Milan was that they had these Italian guys on Vespas taking them around, right? After the day of them going around, they invite them back to the house. And they get drunk, and she cheats on her boyfriend with this guy. But she is super drunk. This is how she's explained it now, many years later. And I mean, she really said that while in the show. She was super, super drunk to the point that she went into the shower with him. She's making out with him in the jacuzzi, and she ends up having sex with this man. She says that when she had sex with this man, afterwards she blacked out. She doesn't remember it. She said she remembers the act of sex, but she doesn't remember the feeling of having sex with this person. She was so drunk. And she's like, this is crazy. This is like, they should have safeguarded me. They should have stopped rolling the cameras, but they rolled the cameras through the whole thing. And then you go to like Jay and all the other producers that were like, this is a docuseries. So we told them from the beginning, cameras are rolling 24/7. You even have cameras in the bedroom, like 24/7. We are not going to stop rolling. If you go into the bathroom by yourself, we'll stop rolling for privacy, but you're not going by yourself, you're going with this man. So we have to follow the story, right? So then it was like, do we get involved and stop you from doing this thing? Or do we follow you because this is the storyline? You have a boyfriend and all this kind of stuff, and you know, none of the other girls are stopping you from doing it. You're walking into the shower yourself, but you're saying that you're drunk enough that you couldn't remember anything. So like, you know, it's a very difficult situation. It's very dark because then she's to her boyfriend, they play it up on this show. She like ends up not really doing much afterwards as well, and going back home and, you know, trying to be in LA, stay with in New York with her boyfriend, and it didn't work out, and it did, like, everything didn't work out for her at the end. So it makes it a really sad story, and they exploited it. Like, they watched her while she's, you know, on the phone telling her boyfriend, and watched her while she's speaking to the Italian guy that she did this thing, trying to like piece things together, and they're recording it. And some of the cameramen were like, we're so sorry that we had to do that, but this is the show. Like, this is the show. This is what they have to do. This is part of it. So there were many instances like that where it's just like, it steps over what the show was about in terms of being in the modeling agency industry, but then all of these things that happen. But then there's also Kenya, who was on a set one time, and she felt like this male model was touching her inappropriately, moaning and grunting in her ear, and she said on set, like, I don't like it, it's been like, it's inappropriate, he's grunting. And they basically were like, we have 40 people here, girl, get it together, carry on the shoot, right? So yes, disgusting, how could they exploit these girls and showcase these things? But then at the same time, this is the time, this is the show, but this is also kind of the modeling agency industry. We do hear stories of, you know, sexual abuse, sexual assault, these male models, people taking advantage of you. This is kind of really is what it is about. But then at the same time, you know, this is meant to be a show. Should you be safeguarding these people to the point of maybe not giving them the full crash course of what the industry is about? Like, where does the show and the morals and the not exploiting these women, but also trying to stay true to the industry, where does that tear the line? So there was a lot of that about whether or not you know, this was acceptable for the producers or for Tyra, and a lot of the blame at this point was Tyra. And I think this is like around episode 2, because it's a 3-part series, a 3-part documentary. And around episode 2, at this point, I'm still like, you know, they're blaming Tyra, but I still think that a lot of it is the production team and the show, and, you know, now they've got them suspended in the air and doing all of these weird extra shoots that really no model is really doing. But it's good for TV, but it's also putting these girls in like all these harmful positions and could get them hurt, but it's good for TV. But then when we get into to episode 3, which is the final one of the series, or documentary, sorry, we now start to see Tyra's, I guess, thirst to keep the show ratings going, and also to make sure that she solidified her position. So eventually ratings are starting to go down, because I guess some people are seeing that, like, you know, this is what's going on. She also now has the Tyra show, which was when she had this talk show for herself, and she brought like Shandy, the girl that, you know, had this issue with the boyfriend and all that, which is kind of like a sexual assault, you know, in hindsight, now that we're looking at it. Well, I don't know, even again, still very blurry. Are you mad that you did this? Whose fault is it? Who should be sick on you? Again, still very blurry. Brings her on the show, be like, oh yeah, we're bringing out the next season of America's Next Top Model. We have Shandy here. Let's talk to you about your experience. And then she's like, I know you don't want to talk about this thing. Pulls it up on the screen and shows the audience the whole thing that this woman had a mental breakdown about, wanted to leave the show, and separate from the producers of that show, you're here bringing that up and then be like, you don't really want to look at it. Why is that? Girl, why do you think? Her whole life is blown up because of it. Do you know what I mean? What a weirdo. And then afterwards as well, Jay wanted to leave, but then stayed. She iced him out once he told her, because they were friends. She brought him onto the show. He was working with her before, and she was the reason why they brought them onto the show. But he was ready to leave because he didn't like some of the things that they were now starting to do. He was feeling like his morals were becoming compromised. The blackface thing was one of the things that he highlighted, like saying like, I wouldn't normally go with this, but I feel like I have to deal with this because, you know, I'm involved, but now these shoots are out of my control. She iced him out that season, and then the next following season, she ends up firing, well, the network, not her, the network fires Jay, Miss J, and Nigel Barker, but she doesn't have a conversation with them. She just lets the network announce, because they went to a joint statement, announce that they were fired. So it's just nasty work. And then another girl, Kenya, you know, she basically was saying that she saw Tyra a few years after all of this stuff was happening. And she basically was like, was it Kenya? I don't know if it was Kenya, but it was another black girl. I think it was Danny, actually. Sorry. And she basically was like, yeah, I knew that you leaving the show was blackballing you, basically. So she was saying that once she left, she couldn't get she wasn't getting any calls to go and view at any of the fashion houses. And this is the time when Chanel Aman, who is a famous supermodel, was also in the same house as her. So she was getting called to go to auditions, but she wasn't going to auditions. She was like, why? I won. How am I not getting any auditions? And apparently they started blackballing the girls that came on America's Next Top Model. And Tyra was aware of it and said, yeah, I heard this. I feel bad, but I didn't do anything about it. So I'm apologizing now in advance. Oh, well, not in advance, in hindsight. What a wicked bitch. So you knew all of this, knew you could do something about it, and you didn't do anything about it. Make it make sense. And then Tiffany, we were rooting for you, we're all rooting for you. Everyone's just like, okay, she still stands by that she really cared for Tiffany, and this is the reason why she was doing it, because she really cared about her, but then at the same time, didn't do anything to follow up, did nothing to support her after. A lot of these women, you know, kind of failed afterwards. So it was a whole thing. I really did enjoy it. I think everyone should watch it. At the end of the day, there were groundbreaking things that happened. you know, plus size modeling came out of this. Let's be real. One of the girls that won, Whitney, was one of the first plus size models to win this show, said that she started with Wilhelmina. There was no department for her, and afterwards there was a department made, right? She was on the first cover of Plus Size and started this. So there were some things that happened. Eva, 5'4". But I will say, most of the stuff on the show, I think, was the producers, but there were many things that, yeah, Tyra could have done better, even down to her own team. She didn't give two shits because she was trying to save the show, save her brand, and she didn't care. She didn't care about nobody but herself, can't lie. So yeah, villainesque. Woo! Okay, guys, with the smoke is when I have real smoke for someone. This is the segment where things that are actually paining me, stressing me, makes my blood boil. This is what this segment's about. And this week, we're talking about this Pastor McNutt. Pastor McNutt, for one, crazy name. Okay? Crazy name. But I think it alludes to the kind of sicko that this man is. So yeah, we're gonna talk about this. Hide your children, protect black boys. This man is a predator, and basically hide him behind the church. How about that? But Pastor McNutt, which again, ill of a name, very ill of a name, is being accused of sexually assaulting his cousins. Well, they're saying it's his stepson, but at the same time, the mother in question is apparently his cousin. Very conflicted, very conflicted views about whether it's his cousin or if this is his stepson. But all we know is these two boys are in his care. There was a video of him tickling this little boy, this 6-year-old boy, in the bed, but you can see him also rubbing this boy's leg. The little boy went to school and told people that he was being sexually assaulted. Okay, they then flagged it to authorities. This man was then arrested. But since this little boy did not want to testify against him, charges were dropped because his mother now has made this little boy sit down with this predator and basically deny what was done to him and said that he lied. Now, I'm so sorry, but if you look at this video, and again, I don't even want to go too tough into this because it's actually sickening. So go and do your own research. But if you watch that video, heartbreaking. You can tell that boy has dissociated. He is literally there. There is nothing behind his eyes. And he is listening to this man talk about they're trying to bring the church down and this is a lie. And these people are trying to turn this little boy against him. And he's been a father figure and all this kind of stuff. And it's a lie. He never said this, all these things. And that mum is sitting there allowing him to do it in the name of the church. Now, I want to just basically say this. I want to bring this up to say that we need to protect our little black boys. A lot of times we say that we don't want people around our daughters. We don't want our daughters going to sleepovers or bringing men around our daughters. And I understand that we feel that we need to have a male figure for our sons that don't have. 100% I get it, but we need to safeguard them because we can't just assume that because someone is a man of a cloth, apparently a pastor, that they are not doing this. He's got these boys waxing their eyebrows and doing all this weird stuff. These boys are 16. He's so tiny. He looks malnourished. And this man, this pastor, came and said that he is small because he was fasting for Christ at 16. Please. I need authorities to do something about this. Just because he doesn't want to testify does not mean that something more should not be done. Because he's scared. He looks like he is being coerced into making this statement. He is sitting between this man and his mum. His mum is delusional as fuck. I don't really know what this is. Like, sick. Real sickness, okay? So, yeah. Please start safeguarding our little boys. If it's not these fucking weirdos, pastors doing it, like, or even, not even just pastors, because there's also members in the family. I'm sick of young men or men that I'm speaking to at this grown age telling me that they lost their virginity at 9, 10 to grown-ass people. disgusting. Okay, and then we have to worry about not only the people in the homes being predators, but then also being kidnapped now. You know, sent out of country to come and bring drugs out and all this kind of. It's very scary. It's very scary stuff. So yeah, watch this, make your own assumption. But I think people need to be making more noise about this. If you see that video in that bedroom and the mum's there laughing about it, sickening. Absolutely sickening. Next. So it's time to get down into the comments section, which is my favorite part. I don't know about you, but every time I see these things, any sort of gossip online, I'm going into the comments because I want to see what the people are thinking, what the people are saying. And I want to know if when this story came up, which is Ja Rule being harassed on a first class flight by Tony Yayo and Uncle Murder, if people were going to be like, oh my God, this is so great. This is so funny. Kiki. You know, shout out to G Unit and these men. Or if people were going to see how I saw it, and let's be real, in the comments, everyone are grown-ups, everyone is grown individuals, and they were like, hell no, you guys are losers. So if you didn't know, Ja Rule was on a flight, first-class flight, and behind him was Uncle Murder and Tony Ayo from G-Unit, and they were trolling him. They first put out the clip of them saying that they ran him out, and then another person put out another angle, and it was actually Ja Rule standing his ground, and the same pillow that Tony Ayo was holding in his video was a pillow that Ja Rule actually picked up and threw at them, saying, you know, what y'all want to do, what the two of you want to do. So in my opinion, I was like, shout out to Ja Rule, do you know what I mean? But then we was like, let's get to the comment section, because I think this is what the kiki happens. Okay, so I Am Whitney Gale says, this is the most exciting thing to happen in their careers in the last 20 years. Next, because yeah, who is Tony Yayo? He is not even the most popular one out of G Unit, bar 50 Cent, bar The Game. There's even Lloyd Banks. After that, maybe it's you, but at this point, like, no one's heard of you. And I think he's trying to come out now because they have a new podcast coming out, but they don't really want to hear from you. But even if we did, we don't want it to be off the back of you being a loser and trying to be a yes man for 50 Cent. Really blessed, overly thankful said, meanwhile, Ja Rule is getting booked and kind of busy. 50's got shows and these niggas are doing podcasts running on about a 28-second video, which is true. You're trying to tell me, do you know what? Actually, and I say this, and I don't know if everyone will agree, but Ja Rule is definitely getting booked for shows more than 50 Cent right now. Every throwback festival, every throwback concert has Ja Rule and Ashanti headlining it, or one of the main acts. Where is 50 Cent? Now, obviously, he is probably doing, you know, Powers and Powers Extras and Power 12 and Power 15 and, you know, all this other stuff. And he is successful and actually doing amazing. Well, we spoke about it last week. But Tony Ayo, where art thou? We haven't seen you on any stage. You was in the Breakfast Club begging up Lloyd Banks, but again, you're not on tour.
Question: do you think 50 Cent's music was good, obviously, in the time it was, right? Mm-hmm. But who would you argue has the more kind of classic catalog? Like, whose music?
Well, as for the girls, so I'm going to say Ja Rule every time. I think Ja Rule, for me, had more of an impact by himself in terms of the R&B and hip-hop, I guess, collaboration and what that meant. Like, we did a throwback listen of, like, J-Lo stuff and all the stuff that they were doing with Ja Rule, and that sound and what that meant to us in those times. For me, 50 Cent doesn't touch that. Don't get me wrong, was he a good rapper? Did he have good songs? But I feel like his resurgence of gangster rap in the East Coast took away from some of the unity and some of the nice melodies that we were having. He tried to also copy after, you know, slating Ja Rule for being like this soft man, then tries to come and recreate the same vibe with like Olivia, and it never gave. It never gave Ja Rule and Ashanti, 50 Cent and Olivia. Beautiful songs, don't get me wrong. Candy Shop, great, but it never gave the same thing. You know what I mean?
From our last week's video about the Tiye versus 50, I would like to confirm yes, Tiye will watch.
100%. I'm so glad that you agree. I'm glad that you agree. Maybe people might not listen. Even Ja Rule and 50 Cent, I'm gonna have Ja Rule, but that's not what I would bet on. But yeah. So anyway, in these comments, we're gonna put some up here. Like, at the end of the day, T Money 2 Stacks says Ja Rule stood his ground. You can't tell me no difference. Ash Nicole 88 says they're trying to make 50 Cent happy. It's like, get his dick out your mouth. You guys are 50 plus years old. Get on your Zoom and do your podcast and stop trying to use this as a way to promote your podcast. It's embarrassing. Like, nobody wants to be on the known flight zone or flight list because you can't control yourself on a flight. 50 Cent and Ja Rule have been on flights, on first class flights before, and they ignored each other and went about their day. Do you know why? Because niggas making boss moves. You guys want to be pawns. Weirdos. Anyway, bye. Sick of that. Oh, okay, bye. Yeah, bye. We're over it. So anyway, guys, this is the end of the Tiye Noelle Show episode 3. I want to also give a shout out to my boo, Dr. Umar, because the school is here, guys. The school is apparently opening. So Dr. Umar, call me. I'm here to do a tour. Come down to Delaware, do a tour of the school if you want to come on the show and do an interview about what you want to do with the school, what this means, why you want to do it. Call me, baby. Okay, I'm going to reach out to Dr. Umar. We need to get Dr. Umar on the show. But I'm so glad the school is open. It's the best news we've heard all day. But yes, if you are liking the show, if you have any feedback, put it in the comments below. You can now listen to us on Spotify. So make sure that you are giving us 5 stars and putting comments. You can comment now on Spotify. So yeah. And if you are watching us, please subscribe, because we've realized that more people are watching than subscribe, and we need to get these numbers up. So subscribe. Check me. See you guys next week. Bye.